Oh my! So we have fresh out of someone's attic, basement, garage. Not a garage, I hope, but who knows? This is an old Gretsch kit, straight out of someone's house, right? This is how it arrived.
Yeah. So we had a gentleman who called us. Sorry, we had a gentleman who called us, and he said, "Hey, my brother passed away years ago. We have this old Gretsch kit with some Zildjian K Istanbul cymbals, and we're looking to sell it." So I called him back. He brought it in, and this is it. He said it hasn't been played since 1958.
Wild.
Yeah. Apparently his brother was in. You want to guess what type of band he was in?
1958? I don't know. I mean, he broke the bottom hoop on the snare drum, so death metal?
Yeah, he was in a very unwell-known band that Meshuggah was highly influenced by in the 50s.
John Coltrane and the Death Pirates. A bebop band, a swing band, a dance band. I still don't understand how you break a bottom hoop, but we'll get there, I guess.
Polka band.
A polka band, of course, from Pittsburgh. I should have guessed
polka band. He told me the name, I can't remember, but his brother passed, and they've been sitting in their house forever. So we brought it. Obviously, we bought it. Yeah, we figured we'd do something a little bit different with this segment. Instead of like showing you guys a kit that's like ready to go and demoing it, like this is kind of how they arrive sometimes.
Right.
Like you said, the bottom hoop is cracked. And honestly, like they're die cast, and I've seen that before. For whatever reason, die casts just tend to crack easier.
You think that happened while it was in storage, or did he play it for a while with a big old chunk out of it?
I don't know, because it's cracked here, and it's cracked
massively cracked.
Yeah, very bad. That's not great. And he has old wiring here to hold on the old Gretsch responsive snares with, which is great. And if you watched our last episode, you remember that sometimes this is the way that they would muffle drums back in the day.
Oh, it's got the same old thing.
Yeah.
So this has been played since 1958. No one did that in 1958.
You know, and that's another thing is like some people will, you know, especially if it's a single owner kit, oftentimes will be like, I've had this single owner kit, bought it this shop here. And I'd be like, well, what are these holes here? Well, I didn't do that. Okay. Well, what's this about? Well, I didn't do that. So I'm not saying people are lying, but sometimes like 1958, that's 70 years, you know? But getting back to the kit, these are all stamped to 1953. You can't see the shells anymore, or the stamps here, but they are Broadkaster shells. Some of my favorite shells are the Broadkaster 3-ply.
Big old 3-ply. What's the middle of it? Is it gum?
Or are they maple, I think. So these are gumwood maple.
Okay.
They call them maple gum to be short. I actually don't know what the middle ply is. I should, but
it looks like it.
Here we are.
Gum. But here we are. So before we go any further, like if I saw this for sale, I'd be like, oh my God, this is in terrible shape. There's no way I would see the value in this. So you saw like this is a rare special kit.
Yeah. So I think what makes it special to me is, I mean, there's just not a lot of Broadkaster kits out there from the 50s. It's more common to see like a 60s 6-ply kit. But these preceded the 6-ply drums, if you didn't know that. Some other cool things is they all, well, other than the snare drum that has an old Weather King Remo, the old crown logo.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a few of those.
That's my favorite Remo logo. And they all have, other than the snare drum, original heads. So the calf heads on the bass drum and the floor tom are in good shape. Unfortunately, the 13, you know, again, polka can be pretty hard hitting.
I think the dude's son or nephew had a Black Sabbath cover band and wreaked havoc on this kid.
Well, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned kids because it's something that we hear a lot is, you know, we want to pass this on to our kids and, you know, there was no interest. And so I wonder, he did mention some kids, if there was some kids playing on this kit.
Had to have been.
Yeah.
That's the bottom, right? That's the badge.
Yeah. So again, I mean, it's some, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, you just set it upside down. Internal tone controls there, you can see on that. This is the cool part. So like, I'm going to try to bring this into the view of the camera.
Oh my gosh.
So this came with the kit.
Selling your snake oil with your drums.
So, sometimes people will bring in drums and you take everything. So this is an old suitcase.
This is where the ghosts are hidden.
This is honestly sometimes like the best part about getting an old kit. Like, oh, the Gretsch is cool. Let's see what's in. Let's see what goodies are in here.
Yeah, what is in here? Holy cow. Is that like the original bass drum dampener? It's like a seat cushion.
I guess. So we're going to be listing this for $300 on our site.
What's it smell like?
These are the original snare drum head.
Oh, look at that. All the bandages and stuff.
Yeah, and it's metal hoop on there too, which is cool. That's the other 13. You can see the Gretsch stamp on there. The 14, that's a bag. That's another bag.
Wow.
Yeah, some old cowbells in here. I really haven't dug through this, to be honest. This is...
what is that?
Looks like it's a mount.
Dampener mount, or...
So this would go...
That's where you put your cowbells on.
Yeah. This way, I guess.
Yeah, that is amazing. Wood block.
Again, they brought this in, and I just kind of like dug through it real quick. Looks like an old hi-hat stand of parts of it.
I got to see that beater on that pedal.
This is
Oh, that's the cymbal arm?
Yep.
But it's not for a cymbal. What is that?
Well, I think what happened was we were looking at this. I think.
Oh, that's the tilter.
Yeah, I think part of this snapped off. So. Just give me a second.
Fascinating.
Got an old mallet.
Love it. That looks homemade.
Yeah, nothing great, but it's still kind of cool. Like some of these old timey.
That beater, though.
Yeah, beater. This is an old piece of metal.
Is that for the spur?
I don't know what that's for. Wood block. I'm really wishing that there's like some cooler like. Oh wait, there was something. Where did that go? Okay, this isn't like a drum thing, but it says Chicago Coin Machine.
Okay.
So 1725 Diversey Boulevard.
That's where he put his tip money in.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had a couple like bags that were stamped with like Ludwig back in the day where they put keys and stuff. But that's kind of cool. So yeah, a couple sticks in here. Nothing crazy. Oh, here's the
brushes. Oh, one of those. Oh my gosh.
So there was no spurs with the kit.
Murders. Those are weapons.
And this is one of the original spurs.
That sharp thing?
Yeah. I'm not going to take that, but he put rubber over the rubber.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, why is it so spiky on the other side?
Well, so you can use them so some people they take the head off and they would put this in. So that way it can't come out. So that's what happened is like the other spur's not in there, and this is like a homemade
version.
Yeah.
That looks like a
not great.
A curtain rod, like a
literally
curtain
yeah.
rod, yeah. Fast. Like those brushes, did they actually
where the brushes
open up? It's like brass handled.
Oh, let me see here.
Weird.
Here.
Let's see if I can get tetanus here on the show. Nope, it does not work. Nope. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
You know what? They don't make them like they used to, Mike.
Holy, how did you ever? I mean, granted, 60 years, but what?
You know,
it's going to go through my leg.
As a token of our friendship, I'm going to give that to you.
I think I could paint a picture with this.
Old drum key, unbranded. I feel like this segment is just going to be us digging through this pile here. Totally fine. Nothing else good. This big old marching stick.
Perfect for polka.
Yeah, that
is not from the 50s. That's the son or grandson from the 70s.
Oh, it's Ludwig.
That's from the 70s or early
Ludwig
80s.
Drum 2S. So, so sometimes like we'll get like goodie boxes, and sometimes there's a lot of cool stuff in there, and sometimes there's not. But
you could empty that one out and put your ventriloquist dummy in there. You could put your accordion in there.
You know, you could do that, Mike. You could. actually could do that.
You can put your homemade beef jerky in there.
I know we're running out of time, but there are a couple of things I wanted to point out about this kit.
Yeah,
right?
let's get back to seriousness here.
The knob, this is kind of like a detail here. It's got like a different knob for the Pratt muffler. This is this rail here. He tapped this and put a screw in to make it stay, and like this is like gnarled.
Oh yeah,
tech.
Again, what a
bow tie style lugs. Making this up.
So this is confusing though. This is the cymbal mount, but it's right on the dead center top.
Well, it's probably for a splash.
Ah,
I think there's actually a splash mount in there.
That's what.
Sometimes like there'll be another one over here.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like the traditional place for the. Here's the floor tom. I'm trying to show you.
Man, those floor tom leg mounts or something else.
Yeah, so they're cool. That's the way they did them with Broadkasters, and I think Steve Maxwell remade these.
I've seen them on some stuff.
Yeah, they're kind of cool. Stick chopper style hoops, which are great as well. I don't think that there are any vents on these either. Because Gretsch wouldn't, they wouldn't bend their drums. But Midnight Blue Pearl, it's a great wrap. They're kind of like Ludwig had Sky Blue Pearl, Slingerland had Light Blue Pearl, and theirs is Midnight. It's darker. It's got a bigger flake to it. It's a really cool finish.
It looks like it's in good shape. So what are you going to do to this kit?
Probably nothing. I mean, this is one of those kits that it has like, people will call it patina, but the way it looks is part of the quote-unquote story of it. So it will kind of feel like weird to like clean it all. Does that make sense? Like clean it all up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you put new heads on the broken heads or just leave it all?
So I'll probably put calves because I have some other non-branded calf heads in the 13. The hoop sucks because I don't have a raw die-cast hoop for this.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just put like an old, regular die-cast hoop on the snare drum. But this is a floor show model. So a lot of the Gretsch drums from this period were 5x14, and those were the name band. But this is 6.5. So
that's pretty special. Get that.
It's cool, man. I mean, it's got like the double lugs. I like double lugs better than center lugs. This is the original throw, and this arm would break off a lot on these, which is why they reproduced the microsensitive throw. Really cool kit, man. I was super happy to get it, and just one of kind of those like happy, kind of rare moments you get.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So something I learned is that Gretsch 3-ply shells didn't have re-rings. I had assumed every 3-ply shell had re-rings.
The early ones did.
They did.
The rocket lugs. I'm trying to think which one. I've had some that had lugs in it. Also, early Gretsch 18-inch bass drums were made by Rogers, and they had rings in them.
Okay.
But I've had them. Some of the early Broadkasters 40s with the rocket lugs have rings, but most didn't. So and they're pretty thick shells. It's kind of interesting. Like, it's pretty close to the same thickness as a regular like 6-ply shell.
Yeah.
The plies are just thicker. And one thing that reason why I like these shells better is that they take regular heads better. So you don't have to jam them on. They have a really nice tuning range. I haven't done a comparison with a modern Broadkaster, but yeah.
Dope. What a special time capsule. This is I don't know what music I would want to play on this.
Polka.
Polka. Death polka.
Death polka. Hey, come see Mike Dawson in the Death Polkas.
That's all.